Hello, my name is Masahiro Yamada. This study examined the attentional focus effects as a function of task difficulty. Numerous literature have supported the beneficial effects of an external focus over an internal focus. However, when difficulty was considered, some studies showed that external focus was beneficial only in a challenging task, while other studies showed the external focus benefits regardless of task difficulty. When considering difficulty, researchers have proposed that difficulty has two dimensions. The nominal difficulty represents the nature of the task. For example, riding a bicycle is more difficult than riding a tricycle. However, the perception of difficulty changes by experience or practice, which is known as the functional difficulty. When this theory of difficulty is applied to the attentional focus literature, all previous studies manipulated only the nominal difficulty. Therefore, the present study examined the effect of both nominal and functional difficulty. In the present study, participants were randomly assigned to one of the external focus, internal focus, or control groups and practiced a 30-second reciprocal tapping task. All participants were told to move the pen as fast as possible while emphasizing accuracy. The nominal difficulty was manipulated with ID, or index of difficulty, by changing the distance and size of the targets. Further, for each of 3 ID tasks, participants were allowed to make up to 2, 4, and 10 errors, respectively. If participants exceeded this limit, the trial was recollected. For the instruction, the external focus group was told to focus on moving the pen as fast and accurately as possible, while the word, the pen, was replaced with your pen for the internal focus group. The control group was simply told to focus only on doing the best. Following the baseline trials, all participants practiced 3 trials of each ID for 2 blocks. And on day 2, this cycle was repeated. After the total of 4 blocks of practice, participants received 2 retention tests and a transfer test. For the dependent variables, performance was measured as movement time and the number of error taps. The effect of attentional focus as a function of nominal difficulty was measured by comparing performance in the first block, which has little effective experience, while the effect of functional difficulty was measured by comparing performance in the retention and transfer tests. The results showed that movement time improved and/or error decreased, and there was a clear performance difference between IDs. Therefore, both nominal and functional difficulty manipulations were successful. However, when we look at the attentional focus difference, there's no group difference in block 1, which was different from previous literature. We believe that a Fitts law task may impose different types of demand regardless of IDs. That is, when the task was really easy, participants' mental demands were low because target was large with a short distance. However, they moved the pen really quickly, which may have increased the physical demands. On the other hand, when they performed difficult tasks, physical demands may not be high because they moved slowly, but mental demands were high due to a small target size with a farther distance. We also did not see the functional difficulty effects. Although p-value was high, we observed a medium effect size in the group factor. Therefore, we conducted a secondary analysis by examining the precise accuracy as a mean radial error, which measures the radial error between the center of the targets to the center of the pen and its variability. Then we found that the internal focus group showed a greater variability than the control group in the retention and transfer tests. This effect may indicate that at the beginning of the experiment, participants did not have enough attentional capacity to adapt to given instruction. However, after practice, performance improved, which may have reduced the consumption of the capacity. Consequently, participants were able to adapt to given attentional focus instruction, and attentional focus effects may have emerged. So in conclusion, we did not find attentional focus effects as a function of different dimensions of difficulty. However, When we examined the precise accuracy in the secondary analysis, we found that the variability was worse in the internal focus group, which warrants further investigation. Also, the study showed the preliminary result that attentional focus effects may be dependent upon different factors that affect task difficulty. Therefore, more studies are required to understand these factors that affect difficulty in attentional focus. Thank you very much for listening.